Of course,
no,
yes.
Unblur it. That's clearly ketchup.
That's ketchup. Son of a bitch, it is ketchup.
Honestly, just blur again. I don't trust these movies anymore.
Hey guys, my name's Anna, and this reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is An American Werewolf in London, 1981 kill count. And sad to say, it took me this long to watch this movie, but I am certainly glad that I did. There's so much to talk about, so much to get into with this, especially the effects, because good God, the effects were... This is 1981, and these effects were just absolutely incredible. But we'll get into that, and we'll get into all the kills. We'll get into how the movie was made, because that's the main thing that I'm curious about, considering how far we've come since then. And, of course, what James has to say about it. But before we do, though, please check all those links I have for you down in the description below, more specifically Dead Meat's link if you haven't already. It's a great way to support the entire Dead Meat team, and a great and easy way to support me is to go right below this video, click all those buttons down there, because I'm glad to see future reactions that I do, but also my channel to grow. Without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims
Oh,
in
he's
all
got
our
the
favorite
little
horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James Izzzyzzz, and today we're looking at An American Werewolf in London.
Hell
released
yeah.
in 1981. As the title suggests, this movie follows an American grad student who becomes a man-eating monster after a werewolf attack in the English countryside. Aside from the OG Wolfman, this may be the most famous werewolf movie of all time.
I
It
can
certainly
see
has
why.
the most famous transformation scene. American Werewolf was written and directed by John Landis, who's probably best known for his comedies. He also directed Animal House and wrote and directed The Blues Brothers. Not
Nice.
surprising then that this movie is very funny. So much so that people sometimes get confused trying to classify it.
See, American Werewolf in London is not a comedy. It's called a comedy. They keep calling it a comedy. It's very funny, I hope. It is not a comedy.
It's kind of everything all at once. An
Yep.
effective horror movie with great scares and a tragic story, a hilarious comedy with best bud banter and memorable sight gags, an examination of cultural differences between Americans and Brits and urban Londoners and their country counterparts, and even a steamy romance.
Oh,
with an
yeah.
absolutely gorgeous and kind of damaged love interest. More than 40 years after its release, An American Werewolf in London is still many people's favorite werewolf movie. It holds
good
up
one.
because of the talented, relatable cast and the incredible practical effects by Rick Baker, one of the best who's ever done it. If you've never seen this movie, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Yes, please.
It's essential viewing for any horror fan. Hey, so get this. Two Americans walk into a tavern and...
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, ad read time.
Hello?
Hey, boss, glad you picked up. Yeah, I don't really know how to say this, but I am turning into a werewolf. You know,
Oh.
all the classic werewolf symptoms and whatnot. So, just
And he's on a landline, too.
Step away from work. That's cool.
Werewolf symptoms? Are you sure you're not just sick? Have you gone to a doctor?
Sock Doc.
Why would I go to a doctor when I am obviously turning into a werewolf?
Zorn, I know you think you can self-diagnose, but it's important to get an actual medical diagnosis. And you can make that easy with today's sponsor, ZocDoc. See, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You're able to select from their over 100,000 doctors across every specialty.
Like werewolf.
No.
Like werewolf.
That's not a thing.
No,
You can
it's
filter
not.
for actual doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and are well reviewed by verified patients. Then, when you find the right doctor, you can see their appointment openings, choose a time slot, and click to book instantly.
Yeah, James, that sounds great and all, but I don't have time to wait for a doctor's appointment. The full moon is almost here.
Yeah, well, then it's a good thing that ZocDoc appointments can be fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours, but oftentimes even same day. So, why don't you go get those symptoms checked out before jumping to insane conclusions?
Yes.
What are the symptoms anyway?
Oh, well, I've got a headache, a bit of a, dry throat. I'm incredibly hungry
Yeah, see, that could be anything.
for raw human flesh.
Oh. Ho. Oh my
Stop
God.
putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/deadmeat to find and instantly book a
Maybe he's just a
top-rated doctor
cannibal.
today.
Who knows?
That's ZocDoc.com/deadmeat. ZocDoc.com/deadmeat.
Hello? James?
Nope.
Yankee Doodle Death is coming to town. Let's see how many kills it brings.
Lots of them.
The movie begins with Blue Moon by Bobby Vinton playing over the moors. That just means a big old tract of land without much on it. Good vocab word. A car drives from real deep in the background of the shop all the way to the foreground to drop off two American grad students, David and Jack. They're backpacking across the English countryside in all its gray glory.
I mean, look around. Isn't this a fun place?
It's meant to be Yorkshire,
So fun.
a northern county in England, even though this opening scene was filmed in Wales. Guess that explains the sheep.
Thanks for the ride, sir. You have lovely sheep.
They get to East Proctor, a fictional village played by Cricketer. The cold conditions send them into the only open building around, the slaughtered lamb.
No, really. What kind of ad is that for a pub?
A fucking metal one, dude.
Uh-huh.
Enter this parlor of pentagrams and pineapples? Oh, and peepers. Lots of people prodding them with their eyes. It's a frosty reception from the locals, who see them as outsiders. Just look at the contrast. The boys are in puffy coats, begging for something warm to drink, while all these governors are in light jackets,
Governors?
drinking cold beer. Or ale, sorry, whatever. Some spooky wall art gets the boys chatting about their favorite black and white movies.
Loncini Jr. and Universal Studios maintain that's the mark of the Wolf Man.
When they inquire about the pentagram, everyone just about shits their pants. Dark guy even misses his board.
I've never missed that board before.
And he's never missed that board
No,
before.
he
The
hasn't.
bar patrons kick their Yankee asses out the door with some travel advice.
Stay on the road. Keep clear of the moors.
Got it. Anything else?
Beware the moon, lads.
No go on the moors and moon. Okay. In fact, they already heard the same spiel from their sheepmen.
Keep off the moors. Stick to the roads.
Judging by the bartender's concern, it's serious advice. What I love about American Werewolf is that after the Americans leave, we check back in with the locals. They debate the best course of action and show guilt over sending the boys out like literal lambs to the slaughter. But ultimately, they're too afraid of letting their little town secret get out into the world. John Landis came up with the movie's premise when he was only 18 and in the former Yugoslavia. He was in Bratislava, working as a PA on Kelly's Heroes, when he witnessed a Romani funeral. They buried a man at a crossroads with garlic and rosaries to keep him from reanimating. Landis was taken aback.
We put a man on the moon in 1969, and these people are worried about a zombie.
He wrote a screenplay where the superstition was actually real, with an American kid like him having to deal with it. But he wasn't able to get the movie made until 11 years later, after proving himself with a trio of comedies, including Animal House and the Blues Brothers. For casting, he looked for actors reminiscent of himself and his friend as teens. It was mostly vibes-based. Griffin Dunn was cast as Jack without an audition, and David Naughton as David because of his work in a popular Dr. Pepper campaign.
How that qualified me to do the role that he had in mind is another story.
Well, mostly because he seems so likable.
Very likable.
Naughton was previously seen on the kill count in Ice Cream Man, which we once made him screen with us at a convention. He was a good sport about it. Landis'
Nice.
self-insert and his pal are wandering around, acting like Weatherman Mario.
It's a cold and a wet out of here.
The idiots chuckle fuck right off the road and into the moors. Come on, guys, you were given simple instructions.
Seriously.
Beware the moon. And stick to the road. Ooh.
You're not on the road.
Motherfuckers said oops, like they didn't just plain as day march their asses off the road right under the moon. All of a sudden they hear a howling, which was made of about 9 different sounds played backwards, including a wolf, lion, panther, and locomotive.
I can see that.
They see something they think may be a dog, but we don't get to see anything to corroborate, at least not until it's too late.
Yup. Ah!
Shit, and David just runs out on Jack like that? I mean, sure, yeah, he eventually stops and turns back, but we all
A
saw
little
you
too late.
leave. We know what you did. By the time he gets back there, Jack's been torn to bits, lying dead on the cold ground with parts of his face and torso missing. David doesn't have much time to dwell on it. Because all of a sudden, he's down on the ground too, next to a naked guy who seemed to come out of nowhere. He's got a bunch of holes in him, thanks to the slaughtered lamb locals, who have come to rescue David in American fashion. Makeup artist Rick Baker had wanted to do this movie for a decade, ever since he did effects for Landis' first film, Schlock. That was its title, not a judgment of its quality. By the time American Werewolf went into production, though, Baker had signed on to bring his lupine ideas to life for Joe Dante in another project. Landis convinced him to jump ship, and Baker left his protege Rob Bottin to do the howling. Bottin would follow that up as lead effects artist on The Thing. The foam wolf head Baker made for this first attack was delicate, and he asked Dunn to go easy on it. He didn't.
First take,
No.
he, like, grabs hold of the wolf, like rips the foam face right off the skull.
He got him back after he fixed the head by beating the crap out of him with it. The
Oh
injured
my
David
God.
is airlifted to a hospital in London, where he's tended to by horny nurses.
Chart says it's from New York.
Well, I think he's a Jew.
And why do you think that?
I've had a look.
Ladies,
No!
that is a violation on several levels.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, Dr. Hirsch puts an end to the harassment.
No, it's gotta go.
Surely you perform some function here at the hospital?
Oh, damn. He must be
Yep.
from a burn unit. David spends 3 weeks in a coma suffering from deadite nightmares. Deadite-mares? When he wakes up, he finds another American at his bedside. Tobias Fuke. Sorry, no, it's Mr. Collins. Played by freaking Frank Oz. Puppeteer and voice actor for Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, Grover, and freaking Yoda.
That
And
would
has
explain
operated
why the
Grover
Muppets were in this
finale of
movie.
The Muppet movie, and wound up including Oz in 6 of his films. Mr. Collins tells David that he works at the, wait, I'm sorry, where was it again?
The American Embassy here in Grosvenor Square.
Wait, did you say Grover Square? Oh yeah? What street, dude? Yoda Lane? Between this Muppet at his bedside and the news that his best friend is dead, David freaks out so much they have to stick him with medical drugs. A couple of cops arrive named Inspector Villiers and Sergeant McManus. They're here to look into Jack's murder and provide comedic relief.
Some tea? Oh, thank you.
I'd like some tea, please.
Nope.
Maybe not, no thanks.
Nope.
Maybe later.
With one job accomplished, they talk to David about the case. He tells them they were attacked by a wolf. But the locals from the pub have covered their tracks and said the attack came from a man, baby! An escaped lunatic who tore Jack to pieces.
They say a madman has the strength of 10.
Besides, they've got a man's body in the morgue, a naked one, so the case seems pretty open and shut.
2 strong boys would be able to defend themselves against 1 man.
I said shut, McManus! You do not put Red up on the board voluntarily. With no one to turn to, David retreats to his Twilight fantasies, with POV and PNOV shots of him running through the forest dressed in nothing but a scent for the hunt. Oh, and blood. He's also dressed in blood now, too. His waking hours are a lot more enjoyable thanks to the presence of Nurse Alex Price. She's super into this American boy.
Come on, Nurse Price.
You can call me Alex.
She speeds right into the mothering part of their relationship by feeding baby Dave some din-din.
Oh.
Ooh, baby like. Baby says more. Nom, 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 nom. This better not awaken anything in me. Certainly doesn't David. He starts seeing Alex in his forest dream / thriller makeup tests. To keep the nightmares at bay, Alex camps out in his room and reads Widow Jackie Boy to bed. It's a thematically appropriate book too. Mark Twain's a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. Her reading's so good, he just can't help but fall in love.
You're a very beautiful girl.
I mean, that's putting it lightly. Jenny Agutter is simply breathtaking in this movie. We've seen her on the couch before in Child's Play 2 as Andy's foster mom. Safe and sound back in the States, David diligently does his homework while his family unwinds watching Mr. Collins' day job.
Yeah, there it is.
But before you can say, wait a minute, when the fuck did he get back home? There's a knocking at the door. Fucking God, what the fuck? Why are there mutant Nazi zombies blasting everything to pieces all of a sudden? In a truly terrifying sequence, they kill everyone. His parents, his siblings, oh God, even Kermit! As his house is torched, David's throat is slit in a kill that could have wound up real since they used an actual knife. Holy
Jesus!
Shit. David wakes up from his nightmare, and the dream kills I'm not gonna count, to find Nurse Alex at his bedside. Thank God.
Wait
She's
for
a
it.
ray of sunshine.
Oh
shit, they got us again!
Holy shit.
Right?
Yes.
A Nightmare Within a Nightmare was inspired by the Buñuel film Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. I think it's fucking terrifying. It's
Yes,
so
it is.
violent, and those Halloween masks on the Nazi demons, they're so unsettling. It also continues the long-standing association between Nazis and werewolves, which came from a Nazi resistance force plan inspired by Germanic folklore, where werewolves are seen as protectors of the land. Now David's awake for real, I think. I mean, he does still face nightmares like British food. Oh, and also Jack. He's back.
Hey, Jack.
Quite the sad sack, thanks to that werewolf attack. At this point, David doesn't know if he's awake or asleep, or how real this...
So I wish that he could show this in this version, because the makeup, oh my God, it looks so freaking realistic. I couldn't believe it was from 1981.
Postmortem visit from his best friend is.
I realize I don't look so hot, David.
And boy, I wish I could show it, but
Same!
I'm telling you, YouTube has really been up our asses about violent content lately, because I guess the internet's for babies now. I don't want to go into a whole Patreon ad mid-video, but we have been needing to blur a whole lot more lately for YouTube. And of course, we still offer kill counts with all the gore unblurred on our Patreon for only $1 a month. But for the next 2 weeks, we're gonna make it even cheaper. You can get a year's membership to the $1 tier for just about $6.
Oh my
Or a
God!
year's membership to the $5 tier for just about $25.
Goddamn!
$5 tier's got some great stuff. Check it out. That's like 50% off our 2 cheapest tiers. So take advantage for the next 2 weeks.
Will
Just
do.
go to patreon.com/deadmeatjames and use the code GETGORY. God, doing an ad in the middle of a kill count, this fucking sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
okay,
sorry.
James,
Jack
it's
provides
okay.
Afterlife intel
I get it.
about their attack.
We were attacked by a lycanthrope.
I'm sorry.
A what?
A werewolf.
Oh, thank you. Jack is doomed to haunt the earth until his werewolf killer's bloodline is destroyed, and the terminus of that bloodline is David. So until he's dead, Jack is a living dead man. I love this fucking movie. The apparition of Jack that David
Some
never
Rob
knows
Zombie
is
up in
real
here.
or not. It's a total mindfuck for him. How can he know if this is real or just the manifestation of survivor's guilt? A distressed David nabs a kiss from Nurse Alex, who immediately invites him to stay at her apartment? Okay.
Giggity.
Instant attraction to and mad horniness for David could come off as a poorly written love interest, but Agatha really makes the character work. She's clearly whip smart, knows what she wants, and is forward as all hell.
I find you very attractive. And a little bit sad.
It also works because she's kind of messed up in her own ways. She likes mothering sad men, especially sad American men. I mean, her apartment is decked out with US icons like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. No wonder she wants to yank on this Yankees doodle dandy. And yank they do, as well as Hank and Pink in a sexy sudsy scene. Damn, they mouths all the way open. Then they take things to the bed where David undergoes his first transformation into a little lap dog. I bet a lot of people get automatically aroused now when they hear Moon Dance, the jazz standard by Van Morrison that scores this scene. Every song in this movie has Moon in the title, including 3 versions of Blue Moon. They tried to get Cat Stevens' Moon Shadow and Bob Dylan's Blue Moon, but both declined. Dylan for religious reasons, Stevens because he believed werewolves were real. Not sure why they didn't go with Werewolves of London though. That one seems like a layup. David gets a post-coital Jack scare by Jump. You know what I mean. He's back again, greener than ever. Whew, you know it smelled bad in there. Jack reminds David that tomorrow's a full moon when he'll become a monster and kill people. Or, even worse, spread the werewolf curse further, making it impossible for Jack to rest. He urges David to self-sacrifice so he won't have to show up again later in a different makeup. Griffin Dunn had to have his body cast by Rick Baker months before production began. He wasn't a fan of the practical magic. His first gory look caused him to become depressed seeing himself in such a state. The second stage, more gaunt, green, and ghoulish, didn't rattle him as much, but was still a bitch to apply.
I could appreciate how exciting it was for everyone else putting it on. But to be the guy sitting in the chair from 4 in the morning for 6-7 hours, you know, the thrill of that wore off pretty quick.
David gets back in bed with Alex, where he starts talking about Universal Pictures.
Did you ever see The Wolf Man?
Is that the one with Oliver Reed?
No, ma'am. You're thinking of The Curse of the Werewolf, Hammer's 1961 Wolfman attempt after they successfully did Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Mummy. It was the first werewolf movie in color, too. But David's got no time for British cinema history.
Well, I think that a werewolf can only be killed by someone who loves him.
He's referring to how the OG werewolf, played by Lon Chaney Jr., was killed by his father, played by Claude Rains. And lucky for David, Alex loves American cinema history.
I'm torn between feeling very sorry for you and finding you terribly attractive.
And she thinks he's a pitiable creature, so he's got that going for him too.
Yeah.
We switch to a doc plot with Dr. Hirsch, who had grown close to David during his hospital stay. He decides to check into the boy's werewolf tale and pays a visit to the slaughtered lamb. Like the Americans, the locals regard Hirsch as an outsider, an out-of-place posh guy from the city.
Campari soda would do very nice, I think.
Sorry, love.
But Hirsch is actually pretty baller and makes the place his own as he cuts to the chase.
Nasty business with those 2 young American boys, wasn't it?
He inquires about David and the supposed madman who killed him. He almost gets some info out of Dart's guy until another dude shows up and shuts that shit down.
That's enough!
Okay, jeez. The dart thrower is played by David Schofield, who was in the 2010 Wolfman reboot. A bit of meta-casting, referencing his appearance here. As for the quiet, badass Dr. Hirsch, he's played by John Woodvine, who's still alive and just turned 96?
God
He's a real
damn!
life badass too. Back in London, Alex
Rock
leaves
star
for
over
work,
there.
so David spends a lazy day angering pets and watching ESPN 8, The Ocho. It's honestly
The
a
Ocho!
meandering montage, mostly an excuse to listen to Bad Moon Rising by CCR. It does a good job putting the viewer at ease though, as they wait for that bad moon to rise. And when it does, things change hard and fast.
Jesus Christ!
Over Sam Cooke's cover of this movie's favorite song, David undergoes a body-breaking, limb-stretching, just so painful looking transformation. It's a full hour into the movie, but the wait is worth it. This is an iconic capital H horror movie moment. The change is so gradual, you really feel David's pain, especially since Naughton sells the ever-loving shit out of it.
Sure does.
The climax is his facial alteration. We watch in real time as it stretches out into a snout. Landis said this whole thing was a metaphor for going through puberty.
I mean, these weird things are happening to you, and you're hungry, and you're horny, and your hormones are raging.
The transformation is why Rick Baker wanted to do this movie so badly. Landis wanted it to take place under bright lights and do something different than Chaney's seated transformation in Wolfman, reasoning the process would be a lot more active and painful. That discomfort would extend to the performer too.
The first thing Rick Baker said to me was, "So you're playing?" I said, "I'm playing the role of David." He says, I feel sorry for you.
Oh no!
Naughton had to get all his body parts cast and molded 6 months before shooting began. When it came time to shoot this pivotal scene, he'd start his days at 4 in the morning and undergo 5 hours of makeup. And since there were so many stages to the transformation, this went on for an entire week. Baker studied the anatomical differences between dogs and humans to determine where and how certain bones and limbs should stretch and distort. For the first time, he had a crew working underneath him, all young and inexperienced fans of his previous work.
To be honest, we didn't really quite know what we were doing.
They helped him create parts out of urethane elastomer, since traditional foam latex wouldn't stretch enough. 5 people operated the wolf puppet's face, using levers for the mouth and nose and syringes full of air to inflate the cheeks and brows. For the hair growth, they pulled hair out through the rubber skin, then played the footage in reverse. Throughout all this, David Naughton had to lie in a hole in the set floor for hours. You can even see some of the seams in the movie. It took months and months of work for what wound up only being a few short minutes on screen.
There were definitely a number of times where I was really questioning what we were making and whether it was worth all the work that we put into it.
It definitely was.
Yes.
Not only is this scene an all-timer of the genre, it won Baker the first ever Oscar for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. The Academy created the award in 1982 in response to The Elephant Man, which had come out the previous year with no formal recognition for its impressive effects. Now that we finally have an American Werewolf in London, don't stare at me through the camera, dude. It's open season on the motherland. David's first course is a sauced British couple who are trying to, I don't know, scare their friends from the back door or some kind of British shit. They're taken down by a sudden case of werewolf attack.
Nom!
It's pretty quick. The werewolfing continues with a trio of homeless guys minding their obligatory trash can fire. They see the monster off screen and then get killed. So sorry to anyone wanting to see homeless people get killed. You know, actually, I'm not sorry. That sounds sick. You're sick.
Yeah, that does sound sick, and I'm really happy the dog got sent off screen too.
The movie's original cut did include footage of their deaths, but test audiences hated it so much, Landis settled for a cutaway. At least Winston the dog survives.
Yes,
the werewolf attack vignettes continue on the 2, with the most British victim yet.
I can assure you that this is not in the least bit amusing.
The dude is chased around Tottenham Court Station by a werewolf POV done by Ray Andrew running around with a Steadicam. Then the dude eats shit on the escalator.
Oh, sure does.
Hey man, you're gonna want to get up. You're on an escalator, dude. He doesn't, and ends up being killed off screen after the werewolf appears completely on screen for the first time in Landis' favorite shot of the movie. This victim was played by Michael Carter, who played one of my longtime favorite Gleek globs, Bib Fortuna, Yawanawanga.
Oh!
Dr. Hirsch continues to study for his Van Helsing degree. He fills Alex in on his adventures in the country, where he believes everyone suffers from a mass neurosis. It seems to him David bought into the idea and believes himself to be a werewolf. He decides to call the police, but he should have called animal control, since David wakes up in a cage at the zoo. Before any visitors can draw him like one of their French wolves, he breaks out of the enclosure in an impressive shot. Naughton's acting alongside real wolves here. He only agreed to do the long take of his escape once, but boy did he nail it, naked and all. David runs all over.
I love the
balloons.
balloon.
Stealing balloons from kids?
A naked American man stole my balloons.
What? Dude, you can't be talking to kids while you're naked in a park. That'll get you locked up even in London. Apparently,
sure
some
would.
of these background extras were actual patrons of the Royal Zoo, since it opened while they were shooting there.
Excuse me.
Naughton said being naked wasn't all that bad, as long as he was in character.
The only time it gets awkward is when they cut, and now you're just a naked guy standing in the street corner.
He makes it back to Alex's apartment, where she's weirdly okay with his new flasher look. Easier for her to get him naked again, I guess. Dr. Hirsch calls and demands she bring him straight to the hospital, but something tells me he's not in the mood to go to the doctor. More like in the mood to play doctor. David says he feels amazing, and that his body's in tip-top shape. Cheerio! His mood is soured when he hears some Brits comparing the morning news to their favorite Burton film.
It puts you in mind of the days of the old Demon Barber of Fleet Street, doesn't it?
It makes him realize what he did last night, so he hobbles through a flock of pigeons towards a cop and tries to get himself arrested. But on what charges?
I'm a fucking werewolf, for Christ's sake!
Sustained. Too bad there's Bobby don't buy it, so David tries slurring the royal family to get arrested. But the Londoners remain unflappable.
Don't you think you should arrest me?
I don't know. Perhaps he thinks it's a prank.
Prank?
Dude, just punch the cop in the face. That'll get you cuffed on either side of the pond. Fearing that he'll hurt the woman he loves when the full moon comes back out tonight, David flees into London at large. I love the photography here. It's really fun to see the city as it was 44 years ago. David finds the nearest phone booth to call home. He wants to talk to his family before he ends this cursed bloodline. American Werewolf is, of course, a landmark for practical effects and a surprisingly funny horror comedy, but it's also got a tragic heart beating beneath the surface.
Sure
Naughton's
does.
performance here is a great reminder as he talks to his little sister for the last time.
No, I'm not being silly, you little creep.
You promise? Okay. Will you be a good girl then?
Still, he just can't bring himself to get us demonetized, so he follows a wacky, waving, degradable Jack into a porno theater. This wasn't always meant to be a smutty setting. The Arrow Cinema had screened cartoons back when Landis first wrote the script, but in the intervening years, it became a porno theater. Thus, we're treated to a matinee of See You Next Wednesday, a fake porn that was advertised in the tube earlier. These scenes were the first thing Landis shot, and since the crew had to be British for tax incentive purposes, none of them knew him yet and were rightfully confused.
The crew was sort of like, okay, what is this movie?
David takes a seat next to Jack, who's laughing at how much we've got to blur this episode. It's not funny, you son of a... Oh, no wonder. He's half a bastard Skelly now.
You look awful.
I don't know, dude. I think it looks pretty cool. It's an animatronic puppet, which Griffin Dunn wasn't pleased about. It meant he wouldn't get to act in his character's final scene.
I was quite threatened by the damn puppet.
Of course, he still provided the voice, and they even let him operate the puppet's jaw. Jack introduces David to the growing cast of corpses he's been leaving in his wake while he's not awake. He's all like, "This is us." Reception is mixed.
You must die, David Kessler. Hello.
Hello! The peanut ghoulery wants David to die before he kills again, and so they can finally rest in peace. They even give him suggestions on how to do it. It's pretty heavy shit to deal with while hearing porno moans in the background. Full Moon comes out again, so David joins in with the movie soundtrack.
Stop.
He transforms much quicker.
I love how ridiculous the scene
proceeds
is.
to kill 3 people. First, a friendly porno patron who bites the big one off screen. Then, a theater employee who runs in and gets killed and can be seen getting eaten later. And finally, another guy, must be another patron, whose body is found by a police officer. The cop acts fast and closes a gate, barricading the werewolf inside the theater. He calls in the heavy artillery as a crowd gathers round to see what's going on. They're treated to a theater show when the werewolf busts through the gate. Inspector Villiers shows back up just in time to get a good kill.
What the hell's going on here?
Gundam!
Excellent work. Only wish the clumsy sergeant had, tripped over the head or something. In an awesome sequence, David tears through a crowd in Piccadilly Circus, a famous public square in London's West End. He causes an enormous traffic pileup.
Sure does.
One poor double-decker bus rider flung through a window and smushed beneath car tires. A lot of mayhem going on here, but I'll only count 2 additional kills. A dude flung through a car windshield and a woman seen lying dead on the street. I'm not counting the cop getting crushed between 2 cars. This climactic attack is the most we get to see Baker's werewolf, which Landis may have regretted in retrospect.
I became enamored of Rick's work, so I showed it too much. I still think when I see the movie, you see it too much.
A lifelong fan of classic Universal monsters, Baker was eager to make a humanoid werewolf in the vein of Lon Chaney Jr. But Landis said he wanted a quadrupedal so-called demon hound from hell, so Baker drafted a beast partially based on his dog Bosco, a case hound. Nearly 3 decades later, Baker would get to make a more traditional werewolf, and win another Oscar for the 2010 Wolfman remake. The shots of the werewolf running amok were done in a few different ways. Some had Baker controlling a hand puppet from a wheelchair, others had a suit performer hanging off the front of a wheelbarrow and crawling along the ground. The performer was a trained dancer, Brendan Hughes, since his torso had to be strong enough to hold himself horizontally. They shot everything in just a couple of hours over 2 consecutive nights. Piccadilly hadn't allowed anything to film there in 15 years. That's why they had to prep extensively, like outfitting the bus with forklift wheels so it could rotate as needed. Director John Landis makes a cameo amidst the chaos as a guy flung into a bank. He had previously been a stuntman, but his crew had notes on his performance.
All the crew held up their marks and they all gave me a 2 out of 10. I got really upset.
That's
He said,
great.
"It wasn't that bad." He said, "No, you weren't that good."
It's remarkable how well they choreographed all this carnage, shooting everything safely and efficiently.
When you practice, I mean, you don't, no movie is worth hurting someone for.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the case for Landis' next project. While filming his segment for Twilight Zone the movie, a horrible and tragic accident occurred. An out-of-control helicopter wound up killing actor Vic Morrow and 2 child actors,
Sure did.
Micah Din Lee and Renee Shin-Yi Chen, who were 7 and 6 years old. Years of criminal and civil lawsuits followed against Landis and Studio Warner Brothers. Some ended in acquittals, others were settled out of court. But it sounds like the kids shouldn't have been there in the first place, and that Landis violated child labor laws at the very least. The details are too much to get into here, but it's always kept me from loving Landis, despite enjoying a lot of his work. By the time Alex and Dr. Hirsch arrive on the scene, David has howled his way into a dead end. Alex takes it as a cry for help and charges through the police barricade, hoping to reach David's inner humanity.
David, they're going to kill you. Please, Please let me help you.
But human David can't come to the phone right now. He's still a werewolf, so he doesn't recognize the love of his life, or at least the past week. He lunges, and the police put him down with extreme prejudice. Wait, how'd they do that? Did their bullets go around Alex?
Yeah, I wondered that.
As Alex weeps over David's naked corpse, we smash cut to our final blue moon, a doo-wop version by the Marcells. It's an abrupt ending in line with the Universal classics. When the monster dies, the movie ends. The OG Wolfman was the same way. How many Brits bit the big one when a big bad American bit into them? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Jesus.
Whoa! Sorry I'm upsetting you, James. I just came to tell you that I went to go see a doctor. And turns out I am not a werewolf.
Okay.
But on the way home, I was killed by a werewolf. So.
Oh my.
Oh!
Is that ketchup?
No. It's very hideous gore. That's why it's blurred for you.
Of course,
no,
yes.
Unblur it. That's clearly ketchup.
That's ketchup. Son of a bitch, it is ketchup.
Honestly, just blur it again. I don't trust these anymore.
Yeah?
All right.
Want some?
No.
No!
I want to get to the numbers.
All right.
My God. That was hilarious.
I counted 16 kills in An American Werewolf in London, with the victims consisting of 14 men and only 2 women. That gives us this mostly blue moon pie chart, and accounting gender breakdown we've only seen a single time before in Hellraiser Bloodline. I should do more Hellraisers next year. With a runtime of 97 minutes, we had a kill on average every 6.06 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Jack Goodman. It's the first kill of the film, and its intensity sets the bar, especially with Griffin Dunn's performance as he's torn apart. Dome Machete for lamest kill will go to David Kessler, gunned down by police in a way that's always bothered me. Seriously, how did they shoot him when Alex is standing between them? They curving bullets like in Wanted or what? And that's it. An American Werewolf in London came out in 1981 to mixed reviews because of its tone.
Now he's got the same 2 comments. This is much too scary to be funny, and this is much too funny to be scary.
I think it perfectly balances them, and
Same.
so do a lot of people, since it's become a cult classic. Glad we could finally cover it on the show. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Are you a single dad struggling to reconnect with your
Oh,
daughter?
back to video games!
Maybe.
Is your pesky dead wife causing tension with your family?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why not bond with a road trip to Silent Hill?
Oh,
Located in
yay!
Misty, Maine, Silent Hill has everything you need to confront your inner demons.
Glad to hear it.
Including your inner demons.
What's happening to this place?
Just make sure to go down your travel checklist. Wallet, keys, monster warning radio, a plastic bottle, jelly beans, lament configuration,
motorcycle,
hammer penis, some good stomping shoes, and a little spiritual guidance.
You must follow the path. The path of the hermit concealed by flowers.
What?
Yep,
What?
that about covers all the essentials.
My daughter. I've got to find her.
All the essentials.
Okay,
This
all
week,
right.
Make sure to randomly black out.
Damn. My head.
So you can wake up in Silent Hill.
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist.
Then on Friday, celebrate the season
Yay!
10 premiere of Video Game Kill Counts only on Dead
So
Meat.
excited!
This craziness can't go on forever.
Silent Hill.
So freaking excited, my God. 1, that the series is returning in. 2, that is freaking Silent Hill. My God. But with that said, though, I was so happy to finally watch this movie again. If you haven't seen it yourself by this point in time, you really need to. The effects for this, the way everything was shot was absolutely perfection. I could see why it's become a cult classic like it is. If this was the first, like, horror / comedy movie that I've ever seen, then it probably would be my favorite. My favorite is still Shaun of the Dead, because, you know, everybody in that's freaking fantastic. But this movie was also just as good, if not better. I absolutely loved every single second of it. But that's going to do it for me here. Comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about An American Werewolf in London? Please leave a like if you enjoyed this reaction. Do check all those links I have for you down in the description below. Then lastly, and most importantly, I want to give a huge shout out to all my $5 and up supporters on Patreon. Cruising, Wolver310, Kester Kronich, Joshi, Chris Curtis, Vox Coffany, Misa2, Fleet Street Fight Comp, Christopher Banyard, Songbird177, Misa3, Fleet Street Fight Comp, Bat Outta Hell 24, Something Else 20 Owl, The True Sunny Hero, Yannick Boudreau, Devisto David Asburn, The Demons of Rage, Macy B, Kitty89, and Powerpuff Girls fan number 8. And if you two would like to have a shout out at each and every one of my videos, please head on over to patreon.com/DDanReactor for more. And I'll see you guys next time.